YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we lived in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
Tensions flaring in Minneapolis after an ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old mother of three, Renee Good. Hundreds of people gathered last night to remember her. The shooting was caught on camera, and Alex Perez is on the scene there in Minneapolis with the latest on the killing that has put that city on edge. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. Take a look behind me here. You can see neighbors have barricaded the block where the woman was killed. She was a U.S. citizen, and local officials insist she did not have to be killed.
Overnight, Minneapolis on edge. After an ICE agent shot and killed a woman, this morning the investigation underway. The horrific incident caught on cell phone videos. About 9:30 Wednesday morning, 37-year-old Renee Good in the driver's seat of this maroon SUV appearing to block the road. This disturbing video shows the vehicle reverse as an agent grabs a door. The SUV then appears to move forward. The agent near the front of the vehicle fires multiple rounds, including through the windshield. Moments later, the SUV crashes into a parked car.
It was horrible. I mean, she crashed her car into a parked car in front of me.
Can I go check a pulse? No!
A person identifying himself as a doctor heard asking if he can help was denied by ICE agents who said medics were on the way.
We have our own medics.
Where are they?
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who has deployed 2,000 federal officers to Minnesota, says the shooting was justified and argues the agent feared for his life.
She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism.
But state officials and the mayor of Minneapolis dispute the account from the feds and say the woman posed no threat.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is what I can tell you is the narrative that this was just done in self-defense is a garbage narrative.
Demonstrators taking to the streets after the shooting. Some confronting ICE agents, throwing snowballs, agents responding with pepper spray and tear gas. That tense ordeal happening only about a mile from where a former Minneapolis police officer was convicted of murdering George Floyd in May of 2020, which ignited nationwide protests against police brutality. Many in this community now angry and demanding change.
Federal agents coming into our city, provoking our citizens, coming after people that mostly aren't even illegal immigrants. They're coming after U.S. citizens.
And overnight, a community mourning, thousands gathering at a memorial for Renee Good.
And Minneapolis public schools have canceled classes today and tomorrow out of an abundance of caution. They say this is at least the third ICE-involved shooting since increased enforcement began. George?
Alex Perez, thanks.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. You really can't make it up. Another Psyop, conveniently created by your government in Minnesota, takes place less than a mile away from the George Floyd incident where that Psyop actually took place. Your government isn't trying to divide and conquer and bring in order out of chaos, are they? I mean, you could see from the footage that was in that clip, the woman was turning her steering wheel to the right. A cop would not open fire, and a cameraman wouldn't even be standing there filming unless they wanted that to occur. And I'm going to show you how this is a government operation because it's filled with the same government codes that we always see. And again, this occurs in Minnesota, right where the George Floyd incident occurred. We have the Somalia daycare situation, which I'll get into later in the video because that's connected to this. And of course, this occurs the day after the insurrection. So people were already boiling over. Democrats are all riled up. Fake satanic politicians like Hillary Clinton tweeting things out to get them to remember that insurrection because they want you to remember that poorly carried out false flag on January 6th that began the massive divide in this country. Not that there wasn't already before it, but that's the big event that they're using to bring down the government. Remember, this is about bringing in AI governance. So we obviously see stage protesters in the street. 5 minutes after this happens, we're supposed to believe a guy runs outside, puts a ski mask on, and burns an American flag in the middle of the road. Really? Did he get all the information straight? Did he know what was going on? I mean, people get shot every single day. People do die every day. He got the information almost immediately. Oh, ICE agents shot a woman in her car who was a white woman. She wasn't doing anything wrong. They claim that she tried to run him over, but she didn't. So he burns the American flag in the street so that the news, of course, could put that front and center because that's how this all works. We see video clips of the military, as you saw in that clip, spraying gas, spraying all sorts of things in people's faces for no reason whatsoever. These people are just standing there, right? The military, of course, doing this. This is all part of the show, right? And you can see CNN witness to ICE agents. You shot her in the effing face, even saying that on CNN as Tim Walz, again, the character who ran for vice president with Kamala Harris, has said we've never been at war with the federal government, but they're debating bringing in the National Guard to protect their citizens from ICE. And of course, the Twitter machine, as it always does, it puts out the things they want out there to trend, things like civil war, things like say her name, just like say his name, as we all remember the charade of the George Floyd Psyop. And this is it, folks. This is how order out of chaos works. You can see the stage protests, and then you can see how sheeple is as sheeple does. The people see this stuff on the news. If you're a Democrat, you're riled up. You want to go to the closest government-staged rally that you think is an organic rally, and you want to protest, right? Well, the conservatives are saying that this is just ICE doing their jobs, even though it was a white woman, and she didn't try to run somebody over. They're defending Big Brother and what Big Brother is bringing in here with ICE and Palantir. So this is what they want. This is order out of chaos, right? This is the motto of Freemasonry, particularly associated with the Scottish Rite's 33rd degree. Freemasons, of course, and what a coincidence, because this is what always happens. This is where it starts, with the coding with the number 33. Renee Good, as if that name isn't fake enough, might as well, as I always say, be George Glass, was killed by an ICE agent near East 33rd Street. They say it was on Portland Avenue South between East 33rd and 34th Street. Of course it was, because it always is, right? For those of you that don't know, 33 is a significant number, perhaps the most significant number to the occult. Prominent in Freemasonry, is the highest honor that you could achieve. The highest degree in Freemasonry is the 33rd degree. That's why they always use it as their calling card. I covered this with the Bondi Beach event a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago now, how that was done on the 33rd coordinates. These are things that they do, right? They use coordinates, they use addresses, they use all sorts of things, the age of the shooter, the age of the victim. There's always a 33 code in there. For those of you who don't remember, I'll give you a couple examples. So if you think that I'm just pulling this out of a hat, right? July 30th, 2025, we had that shooting on the 33rd floor in Midtown Manhattan, which I did a video on, which is available on the website. Mayor Adams called for gun control. Again, this was about many different things, including bringing in this surveillance state, this surveillance grid. That's why the image you saw was of the man walking with the gun out in the open and that yellow box around him, which is what they want the world to look like. Digital surveillance, biometrics, using 6G technology, right? So it's conveniently on the 33rd floor. Here's another one. 2023, I covered the Nashville shooting. That was one of the transgender shootings that occurred that got everybody riled up, that we need to have red flag laws against people who are trans, even though they're going to turn those against people like me and you who are conspiracy theorists. It happened at the Covenant School, which happened to be 33 Burton Hills Boulevard, the address. Of course, for those of you that don't know, September 11th, those towers were constructed and began construction in 1968, which was exactly 33 years before they took those towers down. Even Sandy Hook, after the fact, Remington offered $33 million to the victims. I mean, the actors in the Sandy Hook school shooting performance. So 33 is their code. You have it on 33rd Avenue. Of course you do. That's immediately the first thing I think when I see these events. You go, okay, this is definitely staged because you have ICE going after civilians, which is what they want. You have the left-right divide, and then you get your 33. You immediately think in your head, well, is she 33? Where are we going to see a 30? Oh, it's 33rd Avenue, and it's right near where George Floyd was supposedly killed, which we, of course, know was a government operation. So let's take a look at some of the other stuff, including Renee Nicole Good. Like I said earlier, the names are always like this. You don't get somebody like Banazuza, Mikadonzi, or whatever. You just always get these cookie cutter names so that you can pronounce it, so that you could share the story with somebody. When you're at your water cooler at work. Oh, yes, Renee Good, George Floyd, right? Renee Good, a U.S. citizen, a mother, and a Twin Cities resident, right? Here's a picture of Renee, and of course, conveniently, if you look into Renee's background, well, she was originally a Colorado Springs resident. She was from the Colorado Springs area, and if you don't know, that is a U.S. intelligence hub. And of course it is. How convenient, right? So she's from Colorado Springs. We saw this with Charlie Kirk and obviously the school that was deeply rooted in the CIA. Here you have Colorado Springs, where she's from, which is hosting key Space Force, Air Force, Army intelligence units at installations like Buckley Space Force Base, Peterson SFB, Fort Carson, focusing heavily on cyber operations, command control, all of it, you name it, but specifically intelligence, right? Because this is the intel agencies that carry this out. Remember, ICE is really, we should just call it what it is, Israeli Communist Extension. Don't forget what ICE is doing here. You have ICE, who is working directly with Palantir. I've broken down Palantir many times. If you're not familiar with Palantir, you better get familiar with what Palantir is bringing in with Donald Trump, who is on board with Palantir, which should tell you everything you need to know about Donald Trump. You already should know it by looking at him, looking at the fake assassinations, looking at the data centers and the AI infrastructure, which is what NATO, the UN, the World Economic Forum, the globalists want to bring in is AI governance, which is why they're tearing down the infrastructure here, which is why they're doing it via divide and conquer and order out of chaos, trying to completely crumble the infrastructure, which is what they're doing. They want you not to believe in the Supreme Court. Boom. People don't believe in it, right? Because the abortion stuff that they've put out there, the gay rights stuff, having certain states tell you who could do what in this state and not do it in that state, where states you have to be vaccinated, what states you don't. They're trying to tear the entire thing down, which is really why you see these larger-than-life characters now in Congress, like where these governors and mayors are on late-night talk show hosts. You remember in the 80s and 90s ever seeing a governor of a state like Idaho or Texas or Wisconsin showing up on Johnny Carson or Jay Leno? Of course not. There'd be actors and they'd be talking about their movies and things like that, dumbing down America, of course. But there wouldn't be politicians. They want these guys to be household names because they want you to either love this guy or hate this guy. And of course, we know in the hive mind of the left-right, if they're on your team, that's all that actually matters. If you're a Republican voter and they're a Republican, they can do no wrong, right? And if you're a Republican and they're a Democrat, they're the worst thing that's ever existed. So what we're seeing right now with ICE is, again, ICE is paying Palantir $30 million to build the immigration surveillance platform. The surveillance platform is built and it's here. This is about the citizens accepting and allowing the surveillance platform to exist. That's why they're telling conservatives that, well, we're using Palantir's surveillance platform because we're targeting all of these immigrants. So they agree with, oh, that's great, right? But the reality is that this is going to be used against all of us, white, black, whatever your nationality is, whatever your skin color is, whatever your gender is, whatever your sexual preference is in the bedroom. It doesn't matter. Palantir is the surveillance grid. And of course, it's a coincidence as well, right? Because clearly something is brewing in Minnesota with the National Guard, with the Civil War, with them, with Waltz being the face of Minnesota, right? And all the stuff with him, Tampon Tim, remember all that, where he's putting tampons in the men's room, right, where there's going to be some type of a standoff, potentially breaking free from the federal government. And these are things that they want to do with this Civil War. They want red states, blue states. They want division between the state and the federal government. This is being done by design. And Minnesota clearly looks like a hub. A couple weeks ago, they began building some of this stuff out in people's minds without them even realizing. The Somali-run daycare became a big story in Minneapolis, right? There's supposedly daycare centers run by Somalians. Your tax money's going to it. There's no children in there, right? And of course, conservatives are livid about it. And this just shows you how ridiculous the whole left-right divide is. Democrats are okay with it They're okay with their tax money going to some empty, vacant building, supposedly. Of course, this is a psyop. But just the notion of the story, if you believe it's actually real, which it isn't, they are okay. That's how deep in the hive mind the Democrats are, and both of them. But the Democrats are okay with their tax money getting burnt just because it's a Democrat-led story against Republicans. Right? I mean, it's unbelievable. These people are just complete suckers who fall for this stuff. So after that, of course, Homeland Security was freezing child care payments to all states after Minnesota fraud allegations, which is another way to just tear down the infrastructure. And the whole story broke from this guy, Nick Shirley, the 23-year-old MAGA journalist whose Minnesota fraud story went viral. So they set you up with this immigration stuff in Minnesota weeks ago for this ICE operation to be carried out. That's what this story was there for. It got people riled up. Of course, this guy is being compared to Charlie Kirk. He's even saying he's getting death threats, told he'll be Kirked. He could be the new face, the new Charlie Kirk in the alt-right media. And you might say, well, who is this guy? I've never heard of him because I didn't hear of him either. So I just went to the article. Who is Nick Shirley, right? Well, get this. In December 2021, Shirley announced he was quitting YouTube. So he's a YouTuber who's suddenly hanging out with the president, by the way. In December 2021, Shirley announced he was quitting YouTube to serve a mission on a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Santiago, Chile. That's all you need to know, and I'll get into that in a moment here. 2 years later, he resurfaced with his current video format content that focuses exclusively on political issues. So he resurfaced after being just a mediocre, not getting a ton of views, not being on CNN, the headlines, right? He comes back after going to a mission with the Church of Latter-day Saints, which is a cult, a Freemasonic Mormon cult. Now, all of a sudden, he's viral. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to the White House. He was at a round table with President Trump talking about Antifa. So you have Antifa, you have ICE, you have these government-created groups, which their only goal is to wage war against the civilians and cause civil unrest, right? And they put these people in place who burn the American flag. Civil unrest ensues. Everybody hates one another. So this guy goes on a mission for 2 years to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For those of you that don't know, okay, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was started by Joseph Smith, who organized it in 1830 after receiving divine visions and translating the Book of Mormon. Smith, considered the first prophet of the movement, established a church based on his revelations, attracting followers and founding communities before his death in 1844. Joseph Smith was a Freemason. He was initiated in 1842 and quickly advanced to a Master Mason, an experience that influenced the development of temple rituals in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And this is exactly how they've infiltrated the church. This is part of what Satanists do, what Freemasons do. This is why there's so many denominations in the church. This is why people just don't go to church and read the Bible for what it is. So you have a denomination here, denomination there, keep everybody divided. That's how it works. The more division you can cause, the more the people are divided, the less unity and the less people in masses there are to counteract what's going on. We see it right now with the conservatives. There's extreme MAGA, non-extreme MAGA, pro-Israel MAGA, non-pro-Israel MAGA. Right? They just keep doing it, chopping everybody down. Well, they're all united as one. So Joseph Smith started this. Obviously, this is a Freemasonic ploy. And then after he died, Brigham Young became the president of the Church of Latter-day Saints. And of course, he was also a Freemason, right? Because Mormonism and Freemasonry are one in the same. It's filtered, it's plagued Mormonism with Freemasonic teachings. The people who are, sometimes I get comments from Mormon people on my channel. And look, I don't like to go after people like, if you have a belief about what the mark of the beast is, if you have a belief about, if we're in the tribulation, if you have a belief about if there's going to be a rapture, I'm not going to attack you for it. Okay. I have my own beliefs. You can have your beliefs. If you believe in Jesus Christ, that's what matters most, because some people interpret scripture differently, which is the way the world is going to be, right? But Mormonism is completely ridiculous. The Church of Latter-day Saints is completely ridiculous. It's a cult. It's a Freemasonic cult. It's rooted in Freemasonry. It was started by Freemasons. So this kid, he goes away after being a flop. Just imagine a YouTuber, is like a flop YouTuber. You can even say big, right? Oh, say I left for 2 years and I came back. Okay, and I suddenly showed my face. You'd be like, suspicious, how he's suddenly showing his face. And then I went from 500,000 to 5 million. I was fully monetized. I was on CNN. It's ridiculous. So this guy becomes a household name right after Charlie Kirk. He's gone for 2 years. He's the one who broke this story. Oh, Oh, was he walking around the streets of Minnesota knocking on daycare doors? Yeah, he broke the story. Now he's being compared to Charlie Kirk, he's being told he's going to be Charlie Kirk. And that whole story was put in place weeks before this event so that the ICE agent, in Minnesota, we got to get ICE to Minnesota. It's all we heard for weeks and weeks and weeks from conservatives. Get ICE out there. Take care of these daycare centers. Our tax money's getting burnt to the ground. Oh, how convenient. It happens right next to where George Floyd was supposedly killed on 33rd Street. I mean, are you kidding me with this stuff? In the same place that this psyop occurs with the daycare centers, which they got you all riled up over for the last couple of weeks from a guy who nobody knew 2 months ago, who's hanging out with the president after going on a retreat for 2 years, being trained, of course, by the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Freemasonic cult. So this is civil war, folks. This is what they're building out. They've been doing it. I've talked about it for years. What I believe is going to occur doesn't mean what I believe is going to occur will actually occur. But I believe for years, for those of you, I know some of you are finding me again all of a sudden because you haven't followed all my channels around over the last couple of years. I've been talking about red and blue states, which is why you're hearing states like Florida. No vaccines in Florida. Ooh, I want to move to Florida. They did this during COVID, right? They got people from New York to move to Florida. Now what you're seeing in New York with the mayor there, every other, all the conservative states are going, we don't want anyone from New York moving here. And you got the governors and the mayors agreeing, we don't want you coming from New York. You voted for it, you get it. They want people in states based on ideologies. We're going to have two separate forms of government here, but it's going to be a technocracy. And you're going to have red and you're going to have blue states. People divided so much so that they can't even live in the same state as one another. You might say, well, I'm not going to move based on that. Well, you're going to get pushed. That's what I believe. They're already doing it. They already did it with the vaccine, right? And now what are they doing? Have been doing, right? With the abortion. Oh, you can't get an abortion here, but you can get one there. So people move. They're like, just because they were brainwashed. Oh, women don't have rights here. Yeah, rights to murder baby. Okay. So they were so under such mind control over women's rights, they left states that they were in because a state like Texas wouldn't allow it. So they left Texas and they went to Colorado or whatever state would allow it. Same with gay rights, right? They're bringing all this stuff up. Like gay rights. They're bringing up, the vaccines for the children. Well, this state's going to mandate it. That state's not. This is going to get people to move around like little pawns. They're moving us like pawns in the game. And that's really what this is about. So you're going to see civil unrest again. I mean, they're making things try to trend, which is why you see stuff trending on Twitter. Say her name. I mean, give me a break, right? Say his name. Now say her name. Happened right where he was. It's a white woman. I'm surprised that they used a white woman, probably to just get the white libs more involved, right? The white female libs more involved, more angry, because then they could see it happening to them. Right, that perception. Oh my gosh, if it happened to her, it could happen to me. And ICE agent could show up at my house because I'm a Democrat, and they could try to shoot me in the face, right? Well, guess what? The government wants to shoot everybody in the face. White, black, Democrat, Republican, okay? The government wants to enslave you. They are not your friend. They've proven that they're not your friend. They're the ones who cause all this division, day in and day out. And they do it by carrying out psyops like this, where they have agents in place, characters in place that you don't know if they even existed in the first place. And bada bing, bada boom. You have people in the streets. You're telling me the guy was organically there burning the flag, an hour or two. Everybody, what happened outside? Oh, a woman was shot by an ICE agent. I have an American flag at my home, even though I'm anti-American. I'm going to get it and I'm going to burn it in the road. And the cops, nobody's going to stop me. I'm going to be right in the middle of the street, right where the crime was committed or whatever, a murder was committed or whatever it was, right? A dead body is. While everybody's barricaded off, I'm going to raise it. I mean, what a joke. Here's what they do. They stage imagery like that, just like they stage the image of Trump pumping his fist, because it creates things in your mind. It creates an illusion, really. These images, they'll start using and showing you now. Oh, the burning of the flag, the burning of the flag, the burning of the flag. It'll get one side riled up and it'll get another side to say, yeah, we need to burn the flag. This America is not our America. It's unbelievable. It's hypnotism. This is basic mind control carried out by guess who? Guess who? Your own government, who specializes in intelligence, right? What do people think intelligence is? The intelligence agencies do. I mean, are they going after Al-Qaeda? I mean, wait, no. All these groups like ISIS, et cetera, have all been exposed as being branches of the CIA and the Mossad because they work together. So they're going after us, right? And don't forget the tie-in with Palantir and ICE, because that's big in all of this. Very, very large in all of this and what's coming with tracking and monitoring and surveillance. So another psyop. I mean, we're getting a lot every week here. We're getting pretty ridiculous psyops. We just had the president of Venezuela's smirking, smiling, giving a thumbs up as he's abducted in the night, Just like a video game, Call of Duty showed everybody years ago, right? And he's brought into a courthouse in New York. I mean, the charade that is the United States of America. I mean, it's unbelievable that people believe the news. It is simulated, okay? Watch Wag the Dog. They manufacture the news because it blurs your eyes. It blurs what's real and what's not. You're looking at things that are fiction and thinking it's real. It's like going to see Rocky and then leaving the theater and thinking that you were actually live at a boxing event and watched Rocky win and then go, hey, did you see Rocky's the new boxing champion of the world? Maybe he'll fight Mike Tyson. What? Huh? Oh, right. Oh, that was just a movie. But the news is real, right? The news is even faker than the movies. It's completely scripted. This is what the intelligence agencies do. They carry it out. They act it out. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.